Welcome to the Viking Age podcast, the official podcast of the VikingAge.com. My name is Schad. I'm a writer for the Viking Age as well as zone coverage and Bring Me the News. And joining me is my co-host and managing editor of the Viking Age, Adam Patrick. We do this every Monday and Thursday night right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We're also available in podcast form on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So like, comment, share, subscribe so you never miss a new episode. Let's start off here, Adam. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was quiet because my family it's just my close family, just me, my two boys, and my wife out here in San Diego. Everyone else lives pretty much back home in New York, so we weren't going to make that trip. It's a little too far. So it's good. It's quiet. Watched football all day. Didn't have any turkey. Had steak instead. No one's really a fan of turkey in this place, so we just go with the steak. Still had stuffing, pie, all the other stuff, but yeah, no turkey. We just
feel
went with
like
steak.
there's a growing sentiment of people rebelling.
Turkey.
I don't want to call it a rebellion against turkey. Just, I don't know. It's easy to screw up is my
Yeah,
problem.
that there's and you can make it. I like turkey. I mean, I don't mind it, but I feel like I have to like douse it in a bunch of stuff to make it taste good. I guess depending on who's cooked it, but yeah, we started doing steak like 2 or 3 years ago, and I don't think we're going back because it's pretty damn good. So
Yeah, we have a pulled pork shoulder at
go.
our family Thanksgiving. I live 4 hours away, but I still made the drive. I didn't have to put together a paper on Thursday night. So co-editor was like, hey, why don't you go home? So ate a bunch of food. My sister decided to get a new dog, a 10-week-old dog, and bring her to Thanksgiving. So that was interesting. And my parents' dog, who's 7, 8 years old. Yeah, he was on some National Geographic shit trying to mark his territory or whatever.
Oh, no.
So that was it was a match for the ages, we will put it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I think at one point I screamed, there's too many bleeping people and there's too many bleeping dogs around here.
There you go.
But other than that, it was a great Thanksgiving. So especially, and you know why it was a great Thanksgiving, Adam?
The Lions lost.
Oh, you know what? All three games were really good on Thanksgiving.
They were.
I'm not gonna lie. Like even that Lions game, I'm like, Bills Lions, they're just gonna get killed. And it's like, this is a good game.
It was good.
But the Minnesota Vikings beat the New England Patriots. Yeah. I don't know. You might have been on tryptophan by that. Well, you didn't have turkey. maybe you just had like meat sweats. Like, you just had a big porterhouse and you're like, oh, I can't watch this game. But they beat the Patriots 33-26 at US Bank Stadium. What was the good thing that you took out of this game, Adam?
I really liked Kirk Cousins just being like, frick it, just throwing it up to Justin Jefferson so many times, just being like, he's not even open, but he's going to catch it. And guess what? He did a lot. And it worked out for the Vikings, and it helped them win. I like that they responded to their, getting blown out by the Cowboys. They could have come in and had a similar performance, or just, laid flat on the ground for the Patriots, who are known to just out-scheme most of their opponents. It felt like Kevin O'Connell was very prepared for this game, especially in terms of protecting Kirk Cousins. Blake Brandel, I think he gave up 1 sack, but overall we did pretty good against Matthew Judon, who's no slouch. He was leading the league in sacks coming in last Thursday. They did well with that, and just they didn't play dumb. I don't think they really made any dumb mistakes. The team on the other side, was the one who made the uncharacteristic, unforced errors. I was going to ask you, what was the bigger surprise? A Bill Belichick team making so many stupid decisions and penalties and stuff, or Sami Zayn embracing Jey Uso at Survivor Series War Games?
All right. So before we get into the Vikings part, I love the War Games match. It was, I mean, that was outside of Ronda Rousey and Shotzi, which I don't think it's really Shotzi's fault that bombed. I think that's the other highly paid superstar. But, just the story throughout it, just can they trust Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn going in there, and at the very end, Sammy punching KO in the jewels for the bloodline at the end. And Roman still at the end looking at Kevin Owens and looking at Sami Zayn like, I don't know about this guy yet. It was a great war games. But the mistakes by the Patriots, that's the reason they won the game. I think, it was weird. Like, the Patriots did a lot of weird things because I think everybody kind of just assumed that the Cowboys ran over the Vikings the week before and the Patriots were going to come in and do it again with Damian Harrison and Ramondre Stevenson. And they decided to throw the ball, which in hindsight, when you look at it, Vikings are middle of the pack run defense overall. So I think the Dallas game, we can kind of agree right now, was a fluke, right? So Bill Belichick opened door number 2, and it was throw the ball all over the place. The Patriots only ran the ball 13 times in that game. They threw it 39 times, which is something that I probably wouldn't do. But you know what? Mac Jones looked pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's kind of ragging on the defense, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But I mean, quarterback still got to do his job, and he was making some throws out there. So, I mean, that was something that I think. Now, what was your question? It was Sami Zayn or the dumb mistakes. I'm sorry. I kind of went down. Well, like I said, that was just kind of a mistake. It's like if I were the Patriots, I would have ran the ball. Like that's what I would have done. I would have tested them because Dalvin Tomlinson was out again. The punt return was Pierre Strong. Go Jackrabbits. The former SDSU running back giving us the first down there. It was a very uncharacteristic performance by the Patriots. And I mean, people talk about teams giving the Vikings game. I mean, you can definitely sort that into that pile, but I think the Vikings won this game. They bounced back. They looked like crap. And I mean, you kind of went on a rant a couple weeks ago about how, people are comparing this team to the old regime a little bit too much, but this was a valid reason to do it because this is the same group basically that had let things snowball under Mike Zimmer. And I mean, 4 days later, Zimmer coach team probably is still running gassers from Sunday's performance by the time they kick off. So, I mean, they just did a good job compartmentalizing. That's done. I mean, Kirk Cousins did it in game because his first couple of attempts, he nearly threw a pick six. He threw another interception that got returned to the 33. And I'm going, oh God, here comes primetime Kirk. And then he just went, shoot. All right, Justin Jefferson, I am just going to throw it to him nonstop and see what happens. So, it was impressive. I like the win. 9-2 looks pretty good on the Vikings. And they had a chance to hand 40 points late on Bill freaking Belichick. So,
and the Patriots defense is good. They were, I think they're allowing like 12 points in their previous 4 games heading in last week. So the Vikings, they put up some points at a pretty good defense. And I was thinking about this too. The Vikings are 9-2, and I was just thinking about how like we're guilty of this, and other people who are. It's our job to like analyze the Vikings and decide if they're like legit or not. But I was thinking back to like the days when I was like 9 or 10 years old, and I would see the Vikings. I would view this season. I would look at this season like they're 9-2. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. Like this season is awesome. And I'm like, I wish like I could just have that mentality again, but like we can't. We gotta like overanalyze. Like, oh well, they allowed 13 pressures in this game, and well, I don't know. The Patriots are only
a little shaky.
10th and DVOA. So are they for real? It's like, can't we just enjoy it? Like they're 9-2. They're they have the second best record in the NFL. Like, why can't we just enjoy it? But I know our minds and
I don't even think it's like the analytical side. It's just us as Viking fans just being scorned for like 98. It's like, this is awesome. We're going to the Super Bowl. Oh, there goes our kicker. Let's speaking of which, do you want to talk about some of the bad things that happened in this game? Because there were a couple. Like, I don't know, Greg Joseph.
Yeah. He I don't know. It's weird. Why does he miss extra points? Why is it so hard? And he doesn't make 50 yards. I guess he doesn't make those either. But everything under 50 this year, that's not an extra point. he has made. But extra points for some reason, and they've been a thing I think in his career that have hindered him. Um, and the best thing going for Greg Joseph right now is that we're going into week 13, and not a whole lot to choose from in week 13 as far as kickers go. And then you run into that whole like kicker holder long snapper relationship that is pretty important. I think we all realized that when Zimmer was just like, "You're fired. You're cut. You're get out of here," and just musical chairs of special teams kicking people. Um, so it is a problem. It probably will continue to be a problem, but there isn't really a whole lot the Vikings can do to fix it other than pretty much just go for two all the time. But I don't think they're gonna do that. Maybe I
That's
don't
a
think
Zimmer
so.
move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a Zimmer move, and I think Kevin O'Connell's was gonna be like, no, just make the extra point. Like I'm not gonna go for two. Just go out and make the extra point.
It's a lot like the Packers special teams problems last year. And I
Mhm.
don't know, like that'll scare the hell out of Vikings fans because that pretty much cost them their game against the 49ers, right?
Yep. Yep.
But I mean, there's just nothing you can do about it right now. I mean, if you replace him with Ryan Santoso, like I think he's out there right now. If you replace former
Gopher, right?
Gopher, that's the only
Former
reason.
Gopher.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm throwing his name out there. And he's got a big leg too. So I mean, hell, that would be interesting. But like if you do that, like you said, you're messing with that. That might make things even worse. Like
Yeah.
it's just kind of like work with what you have. And unless like Greg Joseph has a Dan Bailey in Tampa Bay type game, like just
Right.
ride it out. I mean, it'll suck if he misses one late, but I mean, there is literally nothing you can do
I
about it right
mean,
now.
it was a 67-yard field goal, but Justin Tucker missed a field goal yesterday. Okay. So if he can miss a field goal 67 yards, okay, whatever. Then anybody can miss. But it's kicking in the NFL. Like there is literally there's no more Vinatieri's in his prime. There's no more Steven Gostkowski in his prime. Like Justin Tucker is the best, but there's only like one of him. Like I feel like maybe Greg Zuerlein's having a pretty good year with the Cowboys. Robbie Gould always has a good year. He's a good kicker with the Niners, but there aren't really a whole lot of good which is almost as mind-boggling as there aren't 32 good kickers in the entire world, and there aren't 32 good quarterbacks in the entire world. Like what how is this so impossible to find? But I feel like kickers would be easier because of the sport of soccer is just uh, a world sport.
Just go get Pele to kick a 50
Like
yarder or
yeah,
what?
I don't know. Actually, there's a kicker. I actually wrote about this last night and posted like three kickers that the Vikings could consider just to for shits and giggles. But one of them is the USFL points leader last year, who last year playing in the USFL was his first season ever playing professional football, and before that he was playing in like the MLS, and he decided like, hey, I just want to be a football player, and he did pretty darn well. So he's still out there. The Seahawks gave him a look earlier this year, but nothing came of it. But there's some guys out there, but yeah, basically Greg Joseph he's going to be the guy unless, yeah, like you said, he goes Dan Bailey and misses like 4 or 5 gimme kicks in a game. So
The bad for me in this game was the pass defense. And I know I was kind of
mhm,
defending them a little bit with 382 yards and 2 touchdowns for Mac Jones.
mhm.
But I'm just trying to figure out if this is a concern. Is this just Bill Belichick going, well, look at I got Duke Shelley out there and
Matt Patricia, okay? It was his wonderful scheme.
oh, yes. He's running the offense. Wink, wink, nudge,
Yeah.
nudge. Yeah, I mean, you look at this secondary, and this gets into topic number 2 for today, but this secondary is looking awfully paper thin. Kevin O'Connell said that Cameron Dantzler could be back soon.
Yep.
We should be getting a Caleb Evans back eventually as he
Yep.
works his way back from a concussion, but Andrew Booth Jr. now needs knee surgery. And Ian Rappaport says they will dive into his knee this week and decide what kind of procedure he needs. At this rate, I'm just going to assume it's probably going to be the one that's going to knock him out for the rest of the season.
So he has a meniscus tear, I think, similar to
Yep,
what
and
Irv Smith
yeah,
had last
and
preseason.
and I'm not sure if it's the same knee that he had surgery on high school. but it's not good.
No.
So I mean, on a scale of 1 to 5, and 5's like having Chris Boyd start at corner, or 1 being
Whoa,
we're okay.
Top
You know,
special teams vote getter in the NFC, Chris Boyd. Let's not.
yeah, he was going after people on Twitter
I
this
know. I
afternoon too. I saw
that.
that.
You think he
Just
searches his name on Twitter?
you think?
Yeah.
Just where you at, bro?
Yeah.
Him and Bashad Breeland probably still
So is
keep in
the
contact.
secondary concern? Is that your question?
Yeah, is the secondary a concern?
Yeah.
Very, very sloppy
Yeah.
transition by me, but yes.
It is. When you're going into playoffs and you're gonna have to face teams like the Eagles, Cowboys. Who else is there? I'm blanking right now. That's about
Eagles,
Cowboys.
Cowboys. There's
Who's
not
it?
a lot of good quarterbacks in the
That's
NFC.
okay. Maybe not. Maybe it's not that bad. Because like the Niners, okay, I guess they got Debo
Hey,
and
Kyle Shanahan's an offensive genius, okay?
yeah, they scored 13 points against the 25th scoring defense in the
But I
league.
mean, they probably wouldn't have scored any without Kyle Shanahan.
um,
Debo Samuel and George Kittle had 69 total yards yesterday.
yeah.
Nice, but I mean, not nice. Just
No, they have better skill position players than the Vikings. That's what I've heard. So that's a discussion for another podcast. But yeah, there's them. There's who else? I mean, yeah, I guess not the Commanders. Terry McLaurin, he's a good receiver, but and Taylor Heineke's not going to like torch you. So, but like if you want to get to the top, you got to beat the Eagles and you got to beat the Cowboys. And the Vikings did not in both of those meetings, and a big part of that was because of their pass defense and their inability to cover anybody on the field. It is a problem. I don't know if a lot of it has to do with them really not being aggressive when it comes to pass rush. They're really just relying on their 4 guys to try and get to the quarterback, which was working before Zadarius Smith, got a knee injury, and now he's not the same the last few games. I think hopefully this mini bye will help him out. But yeah, I don't mind a Caleb Evans in there. I liked what I saw from him when he was on the field. Cameron Dantzler, he's a good run defender. Not still questionable in coverage. Patrick Peterson has been playing very well. And then, I mean, the secondary worries me, but like, what about the linebackers? They've been getting burned the last few weeks. Kendricks and Jordan Hicks. So the coverage in general just worries me. I haven't been impressed by it at all this year, and I don't know if it's because of injuries or what, but it seems like their coverage is just not good, which is weird because Ed Donatel, he also has like a defensive background like Mike Zimmer did, so it's kind of confusing, and I don't know if it has a lot to do with the pass rush or injuries or what, but it's not good. I'd like to see some improvements during the next few weeks. I don't know if they will be able to see that because they're playing the Jets, the Giants, the Lions, maybe the
Jets,
Lions.
Lions, Giants, and then probably Jordan Love and Trevor Siemian. But
Maybe
yes,
I think the Jets will actually be a good test. Mike White looked good yesterday. It was against the Bears defense, which is they're 3-9 for a reason. But they have some receivers: Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore, Tyler Conklin, that can do some damage. So I'll be curious to see how the secondary performs this weekend against the Jets. But it's a concern. It has to get better if they want to beat the Eagles and Cowboys. And right now, I don't think they could. So,
like I think I saw a tweet by Tyler Fornes that said, maybe they just don't have the personnel for it right now. And you look at this team. I mean, Eric Hendricks, 30, Harrison Smith, 30, 33,
up there
somewhere. I mean, a lot of guys are getting up there. A lot of guys are kind of slower on this defense. And I mean, they tried in the draft, but they just didn't. Part of it's like injuries, and part of it's just guys not getting on the field. Looking at the Booth pick in particular, they should have just taken Christian Watson at 34 and just be like, all right, we're just going to outshoot people. Because I mean, I know Adam Thielen has Minnesota powers, and he can't do anything wrong, and he can just spit out turkey on live. That turkey was probably disgusting, though. I mean, it
It was
didn't look
probably sitting out for 3 or 4 hours. So yeah,
right. They can't like make it during the game or else,
Justin Jefferson's like, oh, I got my grills in, can't eat it. Sorry.
Didn't he
And
like lift up the leg in the
it
thing
was a
too? He's just
turducken
like,
too, I think it was.
oh, it was a turducken.
Meanwhile, Kirk Cousins is devouring his. He has like he's leaving with the bone, and that's it. When he left the field. Yeah.
We've
What
seen
were?
Kirk. We've seen Kirk's choice in meat to put on the grill.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this draft class, you trade down from trade down from 11. We'll see what happens with Jameson Williams here in the next couple of weeks. If he's like a superstar receiver, that's like really raising your eyebrows.
Yeah.
And then you have Christian Watson at 34. You traded down. You took Lewis Seen at 32 before that. And then you go ahead, you trade up for Andrew Booth Jr. with one of those picks you got from the Packers. That looks to be kind of a rough pick. And then you have Ed Ingram, who leads all offensive linemen, not just guards, all offensive linemen in pressures. And then there's Brian Asamoah, who has 30 defensive snaps this year. So not good.
I think I saw a tweet earlier from somebody, I can't remember who posted it, but like it said like if you need your rookie class to come in and like provide an immediate impact, then your team probably wasn't good in the first place. So I'm okay with this rookie class not making a gigantic impact this year. Now, if they don't do anything next year and the year after, then yeah, it's not a good draft class. But Lewis Sean's injury, that was a fluke. That's not going to happen all the time. Andrew Booth's a different story. He's had a bad injury history. And then Ed Ingram, I would like to hope that it's just rookie problems and that can be fixed, because it looks like their offensive line coach has gotten a lot out of everybody as far as Garrett Bradbury, Ezra Cleveland, Brian O'Neill, Christian Darrisaw. They've all taken steps forward this year. So I would feel confident going into the offseason, a full offseason, because remember, Ed Ingram, he wasn't there really for half the offseason because of all of his draft stuff that he had to do to get ready for. So, going in this offseason, a full offseason with the Vikings, I feel like I would feel confident in him taking a step in the right direction. And as far as receivers go in the draft, I feel like they're available almost every year. So I'm not gonna. Would we have all liked the Vikings to draft a receiver this year? Yes, because we all saw Adam Thielen declining, and KJ Osborne, he took a step, but
you're lucky you don't live in Minnesota. You'd be arrested on the spot.
Yeah,
probably on their snowmobile out to San Diego right now.
I've got people, Thielen fans, who don't like me anyway, so I'm not worried for other reasons. But yeah, receivers in the draft, I feel like they're available every year, so I'm not worried about that. But Christian Watson looks pretty good right now.
Yeah,
that first game was a little hiccup dropping that pass, but he's had 6 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
Yeah, some Packer fans said that he's on pace for 34 touchdowns right now. I'm like, yeah, that's not how it works, but okay, that's cute.
Yeah. No, I'm all right with their selections. The Booth one does worry me. I'll say that. The Booth one does worry me, because you're having season-ending surgery in your rookie year when you already were injured, and you have an bad injury history. Like that worries me a bit.
Like, I could see Seen and Ingram bouncing back next year in some form. Like, I could see Seen having some kind of role. It depends on, he's already walking around on his legs. So, maybe it was just a clean compound fracture instead of like, I can't even illustrate it with my hands, but and Ingram too. He's doing enough to start. He's not exactly doing well, but
he's a good run blocker.
And yeah, he's got a good run blocker. If you can get him to pass block, you probably have a pretty good guard there. Or maybe if you get a better center next to him, correct, maybe some of those pressures go away. I'm just kind of drinking a little purple Kool-Aid when thinking about it. But
what do we think? Ezra Cleveland, he was not that good as a rookie.
No.
So, and now look at him. He's according to PFF, he's one of the top guards in the league. So
outside of a little hiccup in Washington, but
yeah,
that'll happen. So to finish things up, do you really want to talk about Pro Bowl voting?
No, I don't.
It's
I
a
don't want to
flag
talk.
football. It is actually a flag football game now,
Oh,
right?
I forgot about that. It's not even there's not even a game anymore. It's
Right.
so they so 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 they're voting. So you get picked for a team, but then but there's no game, so you just get like
Yeah.
a roster spot.
You just get to and I'm sure there's like things in their contract that like
Yeah, so it's
if
like
you're
a
Pro Bowl selection, you
secondary.
get money.
So it's like a secondary kind of a fan voted all pro team, basically.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
When you put it that way. I don't know. Justin Jefferson's cleaning house right now. He leads
Oh
everybody
yeah, he should. He should.
in votes right now. And yes, like as you mentioned, he should. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, why isn't Ed Ingram starting? You vote #vote Ed
Well,
Ingram.
yeah, I guess you could compare it to the NBA All-Star, the All-Star team, and then they have the All NBA team after the season.
Andrew Wiggins, NBA All-Star starter.
Yeah.
Although he looked pretty good against Timberwolves yesterday. I made it. Sidebar: I made it 4 possessions before I turned that game off. So it was Andrew Wiggins alley-oop. It was Steph Curry wide open 3. Somebody else had a wide open dunk, and I don't know. And I'm like, oh, they don't feel like playing today.
Did the Timberwolves they pass on Steph Curry? I don't think I've ever heard anyone bring that up.
Anyway, let's talk about the Vikings and their pursuit for home field. After week 12, I had to take off my shoes to count that, but I ran into trouble there. The Vikings are 9-2. Philly is 10-1. Here is the Vikings schedule from here on out. You get the Jets at home. You go to Detroit. You have Indianapolis at home. They ain't scared, bro. They got Jeff Saturday. You got the Giants at home. You go to Green Bay, where you're probably not going to play Aaron Rodgers now. You go to Chicago, which is the House of Horrors, and that's your season. The Eagles schedule. They have the A.J. Brown Bowl on Sunday against Tennessee and Philadelphia. They go to the Giants. They go to the Bears. They go, that's not right, is it? To the Bears? I don't know. Because it said 3 straight road games, I guess so. I don't know. I wrote this morning when I was a little groggy. They're at Dallas, against New Orleans, and against the Giants.
No, they go to the Bears.
They go to the Bears.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Tennessee.
they got 3 in a row is not weird. And the Vikings are in the middle of 3 home games in a row.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe I goofed that up a little bit.
No,
but
you're right.
because the Vikings went to Philadelphia. Okay, never mind.
Right.
So do you think the Vikings will catch the Eagles?
I think the Titans can beat them.
Yes,
off.
I agree.
I
don't think it's a lock, but I think they can.
I don't think the Giants are as good as they were earlier this year. I don't know. It's going to be close.
Dallas could beat them.
They can beat them, yeah, definitely. And I think the Giants last game of the season they're going to be fighting probably for a playoff spot, so they're going to be competing to win that game. I don't know.
Well, and here's the thing for the Vikings.
Everything's going nuts this season. Why not? The Vikings get the number 1 seed. Let's do it.
Home field advantage for the first time since '98. Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to the House of Pain.
Nobody wants to go to Philly. They were booing guys when they were getting injured last night. Well, injured. So no one wants to go to Philly. Come on.
I mean, maybe Nick Sirianni wants to go to Minnesota just so he can talk trash to fans and say, just
he fits in very well with that. Like he would be. You wouldn't even know he wasn't a fan if he was in the stands at the Eagles games. Like
between him and Kyle Shanahan, I just want to see one of them just get punched in the face. Like if the Vikings Super Bowl path, if they went to the Super Bowl, were Kyle Shanahan, Nick Sirianni, I would find that very enjoyable to just knock them both out.
Yeah.
But there is that.
It could happen.
I'm looking at the Vikings schedule and I'm going like, they're not finishing 15-2. Like they're going to trip up at some point. The Jets is a tough game at home, I think, on Sunday. Sauce Gardner against Justin Jefferson, get your popcorn. Who else steps up if he gets shut down?
The Lions are no joke either.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Colts too. I mean, they ain't scared, bro. Like I said, like Jeff Saturday, as
Yeah, and he's just going back to like it seems like he's going back to their bread and butter, like Matt Ryan, just get in there, make smart plays, just hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor as much as possible. And then, at Green Bay on New Year's Day, and we said that Aaron Rodgers might not play. I don't know if that's good because
Yeah.
he's been playing pretty bad recently. And Jordan Love in his limited action last night, he looked pretty good. Looked pretty
Is it a
good.
coincidence that Rodgers' thumb hurts more than when they're losing? Like, as it's just like, oh yeah, it's totally fine. Just wrap it up a little
We
bit.
got knocked in
Do
the ribs
some
last night.
ancient Indian thing. Then he
Got an
loses a
oblique
couple of
injury or something.
games, and he's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's and now it's like, oh, it's broken. They might have to amputate it. Oh, my ribs, my ribs. Oh God. There is a sit-down interview with Aaron Andrews coming, probably, where he's just like, Aaron, my dear, I just didn't want to scare you. I was in so much pain, and I don't know how I can go on. And
Well, I think I saw today, like a YouTube clip or whatever that it was from the Pat McAfee show where it was like, have we seen the final play of Aaron Rodgers? And I'm like, well, hold on, these guys are like friends. First off, they're friends with this show. He wouldn't put that out there. They wouldn't put that out there without his approval, probably. And I'm like, oh, okay, because he could retire. There's been that rumor swirling around because Packers can't really get rid of him.
yeah,
They're pretty much locked in for the next few years because of dead money. They just gave him an extension, like a dumb team. Well, he won back-to-back MVP, so maybe not so dumb. But he's just annoying.
there was Miller Lite consumed in the negotiation of that contract, I think.
Oh yeah.
Let's give you
They
59 million. You'll be 42,
Bush.
but you'll be good, man.
They drink Bush. Bush. They're
drink
Bush.
Bush?
They drink Bush for sure.
Hmm.
For sure. Like the camo like design on it. They definitely drink that for sure in Green Bay.
Liney's is good stuff, though. That's not bad. Wisconsin knows their beer. Like
Well, what else do they have to
will
do?
give them that. Yeah, they don't have much else. Shoot deer, eat butter burgers, and drink beer.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Vikings opponent on Sunday, Mike White, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns on Sunday. Hide your moms. Here comes the New York Jets on Sunday, but Zach Wilson's not going to start. Are you afraid of Mike White?
God, I would love to say no. I can't say no. I would say I'm more confident in the Vikings going against a backup quarterback this season than I have been in previous seasons. I feel like they're actually going to prepare for Mike White compared to other seasons when they're like, we don't need to do that. Defense, you can take the week off. And then they just get torched by, what's the dude from Dallas?
Cooper Rush.
Yeah, it's Cooper Rush or any other backup any other backup quarterback in the league. Matt Moore, who decided to beat the Vikings back in the day. The secondary makes me worry. The fact that Mike White looked pretty comfortable, and he threw for that many yards in like pouring rain too. So it wasn't like it was just in a dome or whatever. Now he's going to be in a dome on Sunday. Garrett Wilson is very good as a rookie receiver. Elijah Moore is pretty dangerous. I mentioned Tyler Conklin. I think DeAndre Carter just suffered a high ankle sprain, so I think he might be out. They're running
Michael
back.
Carter, you mean?
Michael Carter. Yep, you're right. DeAndre Carter is on the Chargers. But yeah, Michael Carter just got a high ankle sprain, so I think he's out for Sunday. And they have a really good defense. So yeah, and I think the Vikings are only favored by what, 3.5 right now. I could see the Jets beating them. That's basically it.
Yeah.
I could see the Jets beating the Vikings.
Here's my argument against Mike White, and I'm not buying this because we've seen this before. He threw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions against the Bengals a couple years ago on Halloween.
Yep.
And what happened the next game? I think he was 7 for 11 with a touchdown. And then he got hurt against the Cardinals. And then he threw 4 picks against the Bills. This is a quarterback that had 5 of his 8 interceptions with a clean pocket last season.
Ooh.
And I know that the Jets have better weapons. I know that Garrett Wilson is now an actual person, and I probably shouldn't have said that during the draft process. Elijah Moore has jumped off the milk carton. He looks pretty good. And you also have Tyler Conklin revenge game. Hashtag revenge game. My bad. But here's the other thing, too, that was interesting about Sunday. Mike White had 30 dropbacks. How many did he get pressured? And don't look at the outline.
Oh, I didn't. I probably remember it now, but 3.
You looked at the outline, damn it.
I did. I didn't look at. I'm not looking at it right now, but I just remembered it.
3 of 30 dropbacks on Sunday.
That stood out to me. It was like, oh, yeah. Okay.
And last season, he had a 67.8 passer rating under pressure. For what it's worth, noted Disney villain Zach Wilson had 48.6. Yeah, I mean, this is a tough matchup, but I mean, I'm not terrified of the Jets' offense at all. I mean, maybe some of those receivers get open. I mean, we saw if I'm the Jets, I'm going to try and throw all damn afternoon.
They're going to get open.
They're gonna get open. Okay. Yeah. I guess when you're playing 20 yards back in the Ed Donashell defense,
they're gonna get open.
That's not gonna be good. Let's wrap up things with potential playoff matchups, shall we? Let's talk about how it matches up and how it looks. Right now, of course, the Eagles get the bye. You have number 5 Dallas at number 4 Tampa Bay as a wild card matchup. You have number 6 New York at number 3 San Francisco. It's apparently just going to be number 1 by the end of this because everybody's just jumping on their bandwagon right now. I mean, it is funny. I've looked at 49ers Twitter and they're just like us. They're just like, yeah, we won, but we didn't look good. Like Kyle Shanahan looks like the aggressive parent whose daughter isn't getting enough playing time on their basketball team.
You have a different analogy for him.
He looks like the guy that is like his kid's on the wrestling team and he thinks he's hot stuff, but he just gets folded into a press hole at the state tournament. And he's like just sitting there like in the stands, just like, Jimmy Russell. Jimmy.
Have you heard that Sam Bradford looks like he is wearing a Halloween costume as Sam Bradford? I feel like that goes as you could say that about Kyle Shanahan. Like he looks like he's wearing a Halloween costume to be an NFL coach because I don't know. Like he's beloved, I guess, around the league, but I'm never impressed by him. We've talked about him so many times about how we're just like why is this guy just glorified so much? And if his last name was not Shanahan, he probably would have been fired a long time ago.
Correct.
The Niners, who I think I saw have the second best odds to win the NFC right now.
That's just funny to me. Okay, so let's think about this here. Before we get into the Vikings playoff matchup, let's just think about this here. San Francisco has to come here to beat the Vikings. Yeah. They do not get to play them in their little cushy, stadium that's actually 40 miles away from the actual city they're named after. They have to play the Vikings here in US Bank Stadium with a whole bunch of drunk Vikings fans screaming in an enclosed environment. Do you trust Jimmy Garoppolo in that environment? Hell no. And their defense is good. Like, I'm not going to dismiss the 49ers as a complete non-threat because their defense is outstanding. Yeah. DeMeco Ryans is balling right now. Yeah. But, I mean, at the same time, how am I supposed to take you seriously when your head coach is the kid that gets the big Christmas present and plays with the box the entire time? Yeah. Oh, we got Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell. Who's and then Christian McCaffrey, too. You basically bought a Sega Genesis expecting a PS5. Like, he's got 2 yards of freaking carry, and you're like, well, I don't know what's happening. This is Christian McCaffrey. Do you just play fantasy football and try and get these guys? Like, it's just – I hate the Niners so freaking much.
He wants Kirk Cousins. He still does. He does.
The apple of his eye.
Yeah.
Do you think he calls Jimmy Kirk in meetings? Well, yeah, you got it. My name's Jimmy. Huh? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That whole thing was weird with Jimmy at to begin with. Like he didn't even practice with them this summer, and then they're like, "Hey, you want to come back?"
This Trey Lance is
And
like,
they're
what?
like, "Yeah." Like, I guess.
You spend how
Okay.
much draft capital to get me
Yeah.
again? And
Yeah.
you're not. All
Playoff
right.
matchups, I wouldn't look past the Vikings one that's sitting there right now. I wouldn't look past
Yeah.
that.
Washington, not good. Like I said, after we played them, I'm like, I do not want to see them again.
No.
I don't care if it's here or there or wherever. They play hard, man. And I mean, they they are so annoying to watch. Like
Yeah.
Taylor Heineke and his like Mickey Mouse tattoos and like jumping up and down and screaming like a frat bro, drinking Bush Light. Like Deron Payne, still probably an
He's
Ezra Cleveland's
refreshing though.
nightmare. But
He's refreshing compared to like Carson Wentz. Gotta
this
give him
is
credit for
true.
that. Um,
Carson Wentz probably walks by and goes, sinner.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that defensive line is ridiculous, and they made another huge play yesterday. That the interception that they had in the end zone against the Falcons, when the Falcons were basically they're gonna win. They scored a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the defensive linemen stuck his hand up, tipped the ball, and the Commanders got the interception and eventually won the game. So yeah, they're hot. I think they've won 6 of the last 7. So that's a good team. Like no matter, and their only loss to the Vikings at home. So that does make you feel good that the Vikings beat them already, and they beat them, on the road, which makes it tougher. So you'd like to think that in their own building they'd be able to do better. But yeah, that's a team. That's a team that could, they come in, you might beat them, but they could beat up Kirk Cousins, and he might be messed up for the rest of the playoffs. So that could have other implications on your playoff success other than, winning or losing. So I don't. What's your ideal playoff like first round matchup? Would it be like the Seahawks or the Giants?
I'm almost afraid to mention one because I
Yeah.
feel like, they could lose to anybody.
Well, that's
I,
the
I
thing.
think
Anybody this year can.
this is wide open. Like every
Yeah,
matchup, I think is a coin flip. I could see Tampa Bay beating Dallas. Tampa Bay already beat
they
Dallas.
did. They did. They already beat them.
Yeah, and now they're gonna get them at home. Like I don't know. Like the Giants could go to San Francisco and beat them. I mean, Kyle Shanahan
Yep.
could galaxy brain
Mhm.
himself and like, oh, we have 6 points on the board right now. This isn't good.
This is a
Like,
2017 year where they always throw that picture up before the Super Bowl every year and be like, "Remember this?" And it's like a picture of Blake Bortles next to Nick Foles next to Case Keenum, and then there's it's Tom Brady. This is one of those years. What it feels like, where like it's gonna be like a Dolphins Cowboys or Dolphins Giants Super Bowl, and you're like, what happened?
you are drunk. You're cut
Yeah.
off. Yes. I'm excited for the playoffs as a whole because I think it's just going to be wide open on both sides of the bracket. I think
Yeah.
Kansas City is the only dominant team, but I mean, when I watched them against the Rams, I
I didn't
wasn't
know.
like, oh, this team's going to win by 40 every game. Like, it's just a weird year. So hopefully the Vikings can take advantage of it. Why not
Mhm.
us, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Why not us? But that's all the time we have for today. We do this every Monday and Thursday right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. Thursday episodes are now going to be at 11:30 Central PM
Yeah.
time because my job requires me to be literally everywhere on Thursday nights. So come spend lunch with us, spit out your Diet Coke or something. But like, comment, share, subscribe, all those cool YouTube things so you never miss an episode. For Adam Patrick, I am Chris Schad. We'll talk to you on Thursday.